Bangladesh is a relatively newer country established after the liberation of East Pakistan in 1971. According to the World Bank, the GDP growth rate around the time of Bangladesh's establishment was negative 14% and the country was swept by poverty. At that time, Bangladesh was engulfed by floods, famine, and political instability, which contributed to the low GDP along with poverty. According to the World Bank, the country's GDP as of right now is soaring and is now at an average growth rate of about 7%. The GDP per capita is $249.7 billion US. Just economic growth is spiraling due to their exports of ready-made garment. These garments are produced by cheap laborers working in factories. In 2015, Bangladesh's top partners for clothing exports were the USA, Germany, and the UK. Bangladesh's economy runs on a developing market system, and their economic freedom score is 55.6, which places Bangladesh as the 121st freest country in 2019.
Our research question that we decided to investigate was, what is the impact of infrastructure investments on Bangladesh's GDP? We chose to base our documentary on this question because at the moment, the GDP of Bangladesh's growth rate is predicted to be at 8% in 2020, according to the World Economic Forum. We are trying to figure out the cause of this predicted growth rate to see how the factors of Bangladesh impact their GDP overall. To locate the main source of this growth, we have to examine the issues that are causing Bangladesh's low GDP and what Bangladesh's approach is. Inadequate infrastructure is one of the causes that provokes Bangladesh's low GDP, meaning it has a considerable impact on their GDP. Inadequate infrastructure is one of the causes that provokes Bangladesh's low GDP, meaning it has a considerable impact on their GDP. This is what has driven us to investigating infrastructure investment's impact on Bangladesh's GDP, since poor infrastructure already has a negative effect on their GDP so far. The IMF also recommends that Bangladesh should commit to mainly upgrading their infrastructure along with other problems contributing to Bangladesh's low GDP. This implies that upgrading their infrastructure would have a strong impression or influence on Bangladesh's GDP.
Good infrastructure has a positive impact on the economy because it raises labor productivity and lowers production and transaction costs. As of right now, the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank is investing in Bangladesh's infrastructure, which is linking to the skyrocketing growth of Bangladesh's GDP. Before we answer the question, you're going to need background information to understand the effects of infrastructure falling onto Bangladesh's GDP. Bangladesh was formed in 1971 with a time span of 49 years. Bangladesh's GDP had only increased 358.712 billion USD. According to Trade Economics, Bangladesh's lowest point in their GDP history is back in 1972, which was only a year after the country was formed. With 6.288 billion USD, the current GDP is at 365 billion USD. One positive effect of investing in infrastructure in Bangladesh is within the realm of decreasing poverty, as Bangladesh is an overpopulated country with a high rank of poverty at 31.5%, according to MPRA. The development of infrastructure is more likely to alleviate poverty if it improves the quality of life for the poor. Infrastructures are crucial to poverty reduction in Bangladesh. One of the major effects would be the reduction of physical transport margins across the country. However, recently, a lot of Bangladesh's infrastructure has been falling apart, causing more jobless Bengalis, which causes the country to be imposed with even more poverty, and lack of workers would mean lack of production of goods to be exported, which would then decrease their trading enterprise. But the investment in infrastructure is improving the conditions and increasing the GDP.
Our research was accurate as there are many sources explaining the positive effects of infrastructure on an economy. Our answer overall was satisfactory as we were able to tie in many factors contributing to Bangladesh's low GDP from before and analyze their skyrocketing GDP growth that is happening today, linking it to the country's infrastructure investments.